Are you thinking about hiring a VA to help you in your publishing business? Well, before you do that, you might want to listen to this. Hey guys and gals, boys and girls, authors and author wannabes. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I certainly am. Your old buddy Tim here, dispensing all kinds of knowledge about the publishing industry, including how to write a book, how to market a book, how to edit a book, how to get a book out there, etc., etc., etc. And if those things are of interest to you, do me a favor and click the subscribe button below, because I do a lot of these videos and they are all designed to help you become a better writer. And as I do in most of my videos, I address questions that have been submitted either in the comments below, and if you have a question, please feel free to submit it, or in the Facebook groups. And as you can see, I'm a big believer in pen and paper. I like to take notes. And so today we are talking about VAs. And I'm not talking about the lovely state of Virginia. I am not talking about the Veterans Administration. I'm talking about VAs as in virtual assistants. Now, if you don't know what a virtual assistant if you don't know what a virtual assistant is, you probably have no use for this video. So go watch another one of more relevant interest. But if you are interested in hiring a virtual assistant to assist you virtually, which is what an assistant or a virtual assistant does, it's basically someone that you farm out certain tasks to, and they are not local. They're not in your office. They could be in another state. They could be in another country. And that's why they are called virtual assistants, because they assist you online. And that's how primarily you'll communicate with them, hire them, and in a lot of cases, fire them. So let's talk about VAs. And I've got my notes here. And this question comes from Alan. Alan says, Tim, I'm thinking about hiring a virtual assistant to help me in my publishing business. When is the best time to hire, and where should I find a good VA? Well, Alan, that is a great question. Glad you asked it. And because you did, you are going to get a digital copy of one of my books, either Angel of Mercy or Sins of the Father. And if you have a question, again, drop it in the comments below. And if I use your question just as I'm about to do Alan's, you will get a virtual copy of my book. So, Alan, it's really a great question. When is the best time to hire a virtual assistant? And what I tell all of my coaching clients is this: you should look at hiring a virtual assistant in the same manner as you would hiring an employee for your business. You hire a virtual assistant when you can no longer handle the tasks, or it is taking away your time from more important tasks that may be earning you money. In your case, Alan, writing. If you are spending a lot of time doing some clerical work or things that could be farmed out easily and give you more time to write, you might want to look at hiring a virtual assistant. So really, it comes down to what is the best use of your time. I talk about time a lot on this program because time is the one limiting factor that we are all up against. We only got so many hours in the day, so many hours to write, so many hours to work on our publishing business. So if you are spending your time doing mundane tasks that could be delegated to a virtual assistant inexpensively, well, then you should look at doing so. So the best time to hire a VA is when your time demands it. Now, don't do what a lot of people do. I see this all the time. So many people seem to use the fact that they have virtual assistants as an ego stroke. I honestly know people, authors and entrepreneurs, who brag about the number of virtual assistants they have. Well, good for you. You know, the number of virtual assistants is not a gauge of how well you are doing in business or how well your books are doing. So don't hire VAs just so you can say, I have VAs, because there are no bragging rights that come with VAs, because quite honestly, Alan, VAs can be a real pain in the butt. Sometimes it's difficult to find a great PA, and there's the rub. It's just like finding great employees. They're out there. But the good ones are usually taken, usually working for someone else. And so you may have to start with someone who doesn't have a lot of experience, and the entire process could end up being far more trouble than it's worth. But I do have tips for you, Alan, and I'm going to read them off the page since the old memory ain't what it used to be. So when do you hire one? Well, when you can farm out tasks and free them up. Now, how do you find a good VA? Now, this is key because there are a lot of people out there offering their services as virtual assistants, and not all of them are qualified to do so. Now, you're going to find the gamut. You're going to find virtual assistants on websites like Upwork that you can hire for $2, $3, $4, $5 an hour. Now, typically, these are offshore workers. The Philippines is one of the largest producers of virtual assistants, primarily because English is their second language. The schools are very Americanized, so typically most people in the Philippines do speak English, and that's a huge prerequisite as far as I'm concerned. If I'm going to hire a VA, they must be fluent in English. And if you are hiring a VA to help edit or to help write, Alan, you're going to want to make sure that they also read and write English as well as they speak. A lot of times that's not the case. Professional virtual assistants, folks that do this as a living, can charge as much as $25, $50, even $100 an hour. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to VA, it's the same as everything, Alan. You get what you pay for. So if you're looking for someone to just do some mundane tasks like posting to blogs for you, or I had a VA at one time when I was writing my syndicated newspaper column, and he basically posted my column on hundreds of websites, and he charged me $3 an hour, which is good money where he was. So you're going to find a lot of VAs in the Philippines. You're going to find a lot in Russia. You're going to find a lot in India. The big thing to do is when you do locate these folks, pre-qualify them and then qualify them. And what I mean by that is you need to make sure that they are qualified to do the tasks that you need them to do. Alan, you need to outline those tasks specifically, break them down into every task that is associated, and you need to make sure that they preferably have experience with those tasks. If not, they can at least understand and perform those tasks. You can go to Upwork. Again, you're going to find some real low-dollar PAs there. What I like to do is ask for references and referrals, because typically we all know folks that are using VAs, and usually they don't use them to full-time. So ask your friends, ask folks that are in the industry where if they use a VA and where they got the VA, and if the VA might have time to commit to you. So start off with referrals, start off with references, and when you talk to a VA, you should always ask for references. Sometimes they'll say, well, it's a privacy thing, I don't share that sort of thing. I won't work with a VA that cannot provide me with references, samples of the work if they're going to be doing some writing or editing, that sort of thing. Other things to keep in mind are the different time zones. Alan, if you're in the United States and you hire a VA that is in the Philippines or in India or somewhere where the time zones are flopped or way off, it's going to be difficult to have real-time conversations with those VAs, because when you're getting up in the morning, they may be going to bed at night, and so there's going to be a lag in response time. So always keep that in mind. The time zone, the experience, English speaking, get your referrals. Always find out, what their schedule and availability is. If you need a VA to do things that are time sensitive, you need them done the moment you assign them, you want to make sure that that VA is available and can perform those tasks on schedule. Another thing is, how busy are they? How many clients does this particular VA work with, and do they even have time for you? Now, it's been my experience that they will tell you they have time. Most of these folks will say yes to whatever question you send their way, at least the ones on Upwork. The more professional VAs are very professional, and they're paid accordingly. And they're going to, if you can afford it, those are the VAs to go with, because you are doing business with professionals. Otherwise, if you're just pulling someone in the Philippines and paying them $3 or $4 or $5 an hour, again, you're going to get what you pay for. Other things that, and these are the big ones, you have to manage these people. I hear this all the time. I had a VA and they were great for the first couple of weeks, and then they completely ran off the rails, and I don't know what happened. Well, what happened is you weren't managing that VA. You know, delegation and outsourcing are wonderful things. They can really free you up to do things that are more important, but you still have to manage. You delegate tasks, you do not delegate responsibility. You maintain responsibility, you maintain the management, and you've got to keep them in line. Again, you've got to keep in mind who you're dealing with here. You know, primarily, again, if you are using a VA in the Philippines, it's usually a student or a young lady who is doing this for extra money. So are you going to be a great priority in their life? Not unless you're paying them 40 hours a week and paying them a nice chunk of change to do so. So again, you get what you pay for when it comes to VAs. Don't ever delegate a responsibility or a task that is vital to the operation of your business. You don't ever want to trust something vital or important to a VA. You want to keep that under your thumb, Alan. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. Again, you hire a VA when you need to. You don't hire one because you want to brag that you have one. You want to get referrals from friends. Again, you can look on Upwork. There are a lot of qualified VAs working on Upwork. You always want to test them. You want to find out how experienced they are. You want to find out what their availability is, who else are they working for, and can they perform the tasks that you need done. Now, keep in mind also, Alan, you're going to have to train these folks. If you need something specific done, what I always did in the past was if I wanted a VA to do something on the computer, I would actually perform that task myself, and I would record the screen and record me talking, and then I would get that to them as training. And that's a big thing. You've got to train them to do what you need them to do. And as with every employee, I always say hire slow, fire fast. And that simply means if you're thinking about hiring a VA, interview them, get on Skype, don't do it over email. Tell them specifically what you want them to do. Make sure they are qualified to do it, and then test them. Give them one minor task to see how they do, then give them another. And after you finally trust them, then you delegate tasks to them. But again, Alan, keep your thumb on top of it. You have to manage. So, hey, I hope that was helpful. If you are looking for a VA, again, good luck. Be smart about it. There's a lot of good ones out there. You get what you pay for, and other cliches. So, hey, Alan, I appreciate you submitting that question, my friend. You are going to get a digital copy of one of my books just for doing so. Hey, if you have a question or a comment, please leave it in the comments section below. If I use your question on one of these videos, you will get a free digital copy of my book. It's almost as good as winning the lottery. Well, maybe a scratch off, but not the big lottery. Hey, don't forget, if you are a writer or someone interested in writing or publishing, subscribe to these videos. I do these a lot, and God forbid you miss this, because it is an entertainment value. So click the subscribe button. If you click the little bell, you'll be notified every time I do one of these. Click like, leave a comment, find me on Facebook. Don't forget, findabookeditor.com is my website where I offer professional services to authors and publishers. I'm not a VA. I guess for the money I could be a VA, but probably not. So, hey, that's going to do it. Don't forget, the whole purpose of this channel is to help you become a better writer. And hopefully I've done that a little bit today.